This is Syed Habib with you. Before I begin what I'm going to share with you, a beautiful story, a small story. Four friends were going for an examination. They were unprepared, so they came up with a plan. They went to the exam center late. They were taken to the principal's office. The principal wanted to know what happened. So they had cooked up a story. They said their car had a puncture. So the principal, who looked at them, was a bit compassionate and said, okay, you can take the exam on another day. The four friends came out. They were thrilled that they won. They really fooled the principal, and so they went back. They had enough time to prepare. They came back on the appointed date. And when they came into the school, the principal had already instructed the teacher to put all the four of them in different classes. They were taken to the different classes and the question paper was given. The question paper had two questions. The first, your name. The second, which of the tire of the car was punctured. All the four failed, obviously, because it was a lie. And after that, you know what happened? It was a lesson for them to remember all through their life. Now, why did I share this story with you? I shared this story because I wanted to highlight the importance of how our mind works, how things happen inside our mind first and then in reality, right? If you notice the four friends, something happened, something cooked up in all their minds, and they were able to plan the whole thing together and they executed it. Meanwhile, notice the principal planned too, right? So there is a plan in the mind which actually requires to be done and then executed in reality. Whether they were right or wrong, you and me in our own days have done all this, right? I'm not talking about the values, I'm just talking about how the mind functions. My upcoming book, Tie Your Camel, is based on a very beautiful happening. Basically, it was a situation which happened during the Prophet Muhammad's time, and I pulled it because I consider him as my role model. I pulled this story from there and put it as the title of my book. This book is about planning and executing giant goals, and this is targeted for an age group of 15 to 45. So before even I explain about the book or what it contains and probably take you through this first episode, just give you a little understanding, a little taste of that. Before that, I would like to tell you the incident which happened with the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So he was, near the prayer hall. He saw a Bedouin. The Prophet saw a Bedouin. Bedouin is a villager who came on his camel. He left the camel and he was walking towards the prayer hall, prayer area. So Prophet Muhammad looked at him and said, he called him and said, dear brother, you didn't tie your camel. So the Bedouin turned around and said, I trust in God. So the Prophet Muhammad said something very beautiful. He said, my brother, true faith is tying your camel and trusting in God. So this incident or this story, though it seems so insignificant, was very powerful for me. I got something very important. What did I understand? Most of us, you and me, dream all the time, right? Human beings, the mind God has created for us is there to dream and experience those dreams, convert them into sizable goals and go after and achieve them, right? But most of us, we do have our dreams, we do have our goals, but we're not committed towards them. We don't tie our goals. If the goal is formed and then we try to grapple with the goal and then somehow it ends up not resulting in what we wanted, we always blame it on destiny. We said God wished it, that's why it didn't happen. We didn't do our part. Our commitment towards our goal was so loose that the goal slipped away, right? So this book is oriented to get us to do our bit and then trust in God. So that's the whole background about the book. And in this whole thing, I would like to tell you something. Sometimes you and me, and I'm including myself because this is a journey for me while I'm writing the book, it was a journey for me as well. You and me are so with this entire situation of being so loosely tied, we are selectively tying things down. I'll give you an example. We all have doors to our houses, right? In the night before sleeping, we lock our doors. That's tying the camel, right? Anything which we have in our possession or which is inside our domain of this world, if we are able to understand its value, we lock it up. You have a bank account, you lock it. You have a locker in the bank, you lock it. You have an online banking system, you never share the password with anybody, you lock it. You have a very strong password, right? You want to change your clothes, you lock your door. There we do not say, I trust in God, correct? So somewhere there is an aspect of hypocrisy inside us. So I am trying to clarify that part. Now in this whole gamut, I need to explain to you, and I need to understand this for myself as well, that there are two aspects. When we pick up goals, there are two aspects of a goal. And most of the time, we pick up aspects based on our own convenience. Right now, I'll give you a very quick understanding of this. And this is a distinction. This is a very important distinction before we get into the aspect of setting goals, setting large goals, setting gigantic goals. We need to understand something. As human beings, you and I have limited control over certain things. We have control over certain things, and we do not have control over certain things. Areas which we can control is where we can impact, where we can commit, where we can tie our camel. But there are areas where we cannot. We need to acknowledge that. And we need to also take a decision to spend minimum area on areas which are of our concern and put more time in areas of our own control. For example, I'll just give you an example. I call these strategies. And the first part of the strategies which I'm explaining to you is, I call them red strategies. What are red strategies? These are areas of our concern, right? For example, the pandemic across the world. For you and me, it's an area of concern. You can't control it. For no way you can control this. It's an area of concern, right? Let me take, for example, you and I are not allowed to travel right now. Our travel freedom is curbed. That's an area of concern. It's not control. And imagine how much time we spend on this. Discussing, talking, being bothered, right? Let's take another example. Economy. Area of concern, right? World crisis, water crisis, death. Death is an area of, can you control it? No, you can't. It's an area of concern. Poverty, we see so much of poverty, especially with the lockdown happening. We saw migrants, thousands and thousands of migrants going, right? Area of control? No. Area of concern. Area of concern should be treated as area of concern and not as control. You cannot tie your camel in these areas, right? Rumors on the WhatsApp, area of concern. So much of confusion around, area of concern. Now, let us come to the other side, the green strategies. Area of control. I call them area of control. And it's really good. Let me take the example. Corona is the area of concern. What is the area of control? Taking care of yourself. Being, protected. Minimal distancing. Maintaining social distancing. Wearing a mask. Right? Not going out into gathering. Taking care of the family. Staying put. This is the area of control. You can control yourself on that. So that's the maximum domain of control we have. Then, since there is a no travel, get online, start learning, do business online. Area of control, you can control that. While the entire world is talking about crisis, you can look at upskilling, right? The world crisis, economy is down, but then you can upskill and look at what are the areas in the world which are coming up and where you can make a career. You can focus on your family, right? A lot of time, we do not have time for our family in normal circumstances. Today, since we are living with the family, we are around the family, make use of the time, connect with them, bond with your own family, bond with your friends, call them up, call the relatives. Area of control. Like when there is death around, you can hear about death, right? What do you need to do? Manage your health, manage your fitness, manage your immunity, area of control. So for every area which you think is of a big concern, there is a limited area of control you can have on your own self, and that is about tying your camel. Without doing that, we keep talking about areas of concern, it's not going to help in any way. I hope I get my point across pretty well to you all. So I'm not going to go into too much of subject today because this is the introduction, this is the episode 1. I explained to you why tie your camel, because of that particular beautiful incident, and I also explained to you that the first point is to understand the area of concern and area of control and work more. For example, if you have 10 hours a day, work for 8 hours on area of your control and probably an hour or so on area of concern. That will make us more effective people, right? So we'll come up with more episodes in the future as we go forward. There's one last thing I would like to tell you. Why the camel? Of course, it's desert and you don't have any other animal there. Camel is the most effective way of moving around. But then I thought back, I said, there is a reason why it was the camel. Probably it's the camel's destiny. So, an assignment or a good work for you. Look out, go and check out what are the characteristics of this fantastic animal, camel. You'll be shocked. I'll share some of the characteristics with you in the next episode, and I would give you this as an assignment to go and have a check on this animal and how unique it is, right? So let's move forward in the next episode shortly. We'll come back and announce. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.